Plus Sports Special on Plus TV Africa. Welcome on the show. My name is Wale Scott. As usual, I've got Seun Ajidagba on the show, so which means we're going to be talking a lot of cricket, as you know. Bukael, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Seun, Merry Christmas. Welcome on the show.
It's a pleasure being here. Compliment of the season to everyone. But more importantly, like I posted yesterday on my social media page, let's remember the reason for the season.
The reason for the season.
There are some persons, they don't know where the meal will come from.
True.
Please check up on them and look out for them.
And
once
depression is real.
It's real. Check up on them, look out for them, make them happy. Happiness necessarily does not come with money, food, materials. It could just be showing empathy with someone, having interactions with that person. But more importantly, Merry Christmas and a prosperous year 2022. But Wale, let me report some of my friends. I'm a Muslim, same as Mika, but Wale is a Christian.
Yeah.
But we don't have barriers. I'm telling them, I said, during the year period, you people will come to my place.
And chop ramen.
Chop ramen. How far? One of the weirdest, if there's anything like that, comment I've ever heard is as if they had an unanimous agreement to say, Jesus Christ don't want us. Say,
do it low key.
More no loud in bed. May in bed the judge on the low key.
Don't worry, low key safe. You will still be for 7 minutes. No more. Let's look at cricket. Quick, let's go through that. What's up in the Nigerian Cricket League? Most people, you are the only person who actually comes on air, TV and radio, to educate the people about the Cricket League, how far they've gone, what's happening in it. Most people don't look that way most times.
Well, we have to talk about it because we know that every country has got a sport that is peculiar to them. And cricket is not number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 in Nigeria. But we need to inform people. More importantly, the training we got is that you are a sports journalist,
yes,
not a football journalist. So the Club Cricket Committee League has started. After months, weeks of hiatus, no activity, finally it has started. We are expecting to see 104 T20 cricket matches across 5 months. 104 Whoa. T20 matches, because that's the format that they have decided to adopt, which is the Hing thing. Across 5 months, and we have 16 teams, 9 in Division 1 and 7 in Division 2. So some teams have played 2 matches, some have played 1 match. This competition, of course, is backed by a Lagos State House of Assembly member who is representing the Etiosa 2, Honorable Blowout Olusegun Ishao. And he said he decided to do this because of the too much attention that has plagued football at the expense of other sports that can also take Nigeria to El Dorado. And he cited one simple example. He said, when we went for Atlanta 96, we won 2 gold medals. Football and Chioma Ajunwa Okpara MUN won a long jump. That if we invest in other sports, we will get a dividend. The most decorated Olympian in the world is Michael Phelps. The medal Michael Phelps has, Nigeria will go for 50 Olympics, we have not matched it. Because there are so many medals to be won from swimming. So if we put all our energy in football at the expense of other sports, we are doing a lot of disservice for ourselves. So he said, it's on that premise that he said he decided to sponsor this league. And the league has been going on strong. Credit must go to Mr. Akidenti and his team for doing a fantastic job. Games are played at CMS Grammar School in Bariga, because it's also a cricket playing school, and at the Unilag Cricket Over. The TBS is almost near completion. So like I said, matches have been played in Division 1. Defending champion Ibejuleki, in their first game, thought...
I think Toby Odushola, our producer, will actually show us
the table and what it looks like. In the first game, which was the most anticipated game, between Ibejuleki Cricket Club 1, who are defending champion, and Government College Ibadan Old Boys Cricket Club, it was really embarrassing. This is the table. Ibeju are topping. They've played 2 matches. They've won 2 and they have 8 points. GCI have played 2 matches. They've lost 1. The only game they lost was against Ibeju. They won their second game against Rocks of Abeokuta. Rising Stars are in 3rd position. They played 1 match and lost 1. FGC Warrior played 1 and lost 1. Government College Ugeli have played 2 matches. They've lost 1. Rocks of Abeokuta, they played 2 matches, lost 1. Foundation Cricket Club, the oldest club in Nigeria, they played 2 matches, lost 1. And 1004 Stars and Lagos Asians Cricket Club are the only 2 clubs in Division 1 that have played 2 matches and have not won any game. Now, the league have a disciplinary committee headed by Mr. Olulabi Odugwa. His job and his team that has the likes of Seun Ajidagba and all the Femi John is to ensure that any team that falters with disciplinary issues, they take action on them. And from match day 2, they've taken action on some teams. Foundation Cricket Club, Pioneers Cricket Club, and of course, Ibejuleki Cricket Club too. They've meted out sanction on them and they've deducted points. This is not LMC that waste time on how we do. What did they do? There is a playing condition and there are jerseys that you need to wear on match days, which must be synchronized. But because they wore different jerseys, they've sanctioned them and they deducted points from them. So those 3 clubs were sanctioned for violating the playing condition.
So quickly, Seun, because of time.
Yeah.
You spoke about most people, even some of the people that actually play cricket,
yes,
don't know how the game is scored.
Yes.
So they are taking how to score games to secondary schools to actually teach them how to score the game.
Fantastic. There is an association called Association of Cricket Umpires Scorers of Nigeria, the Lagos State branch. They call them AFCON. Now, they had a seminar on Thursday at the Tafawa Balewa Cricket Oval to teach secondary school students the rudiment of scoring, both manual scoring and electronic scoring. Now, we had 28 people in attendance, 7 female, and 70% of those people who came were newbies who didn't understand how to score this thing. So they were taught rudiment of scoring on manual. The manual was done by Tunde Ayinde and Jumoke Owolabi. That's the manual scoring of cricket. Now, for the electronic, it was done by Taiwo Atiba and Muinat Alao. Muinat Alao, coincidentally, is one of the most respected scorers Nigeria have.
I think Toby can get the picture of that.
They have.
Yeah,
and
sure can.
The only female ICC level 1 officer, Temitope Onikoyi, taught them how to communicate from the umpire to the scorers. Case in point, when an umpire, the seminar, when an umpire is giving a signal, he communicates to the table. It's just like the center referee communicating.
That's the seminar picture.
Yeah, this is seminar picture, and these are the attendees. Fantastic for me, and I must commend Rixin Tete and his entire team. They were newly elected into this board of AFCON, and they already did this for these students. So they were taught the rudiments of how to score, both manual and electronic. And they said they are going to do it for several students.
You know, it's interesting you say that about how important it is to learn how to score the game. When I first got into tennis, one of the holdbacks for me was trying to understand how they scored the game, the loves. And understanding that enabled me to finally appreciate the game. And bringing it down to the primary school level, to the rudiments, to the formative years of these future players, I think it's a big deal and it's a good thing, because even for me, learning how to play basketball, I always said I was never going to be interested in it because I didn't really enjoy the way it was scored, and I also thought there were too many rules, too many fouls to be given. But once I understood it, I suddenly loved the game, almost to the point that I loved it more than football. But you know, understanding these little things can be the difference between ensuring that we have a new generation of cricket lovers. And I think it's a pretty big deal and a pretty impressive accomplishment going forward. Okay, on the show, we're still going to be talking cricket later. But the Super Eagles duo of Kelechi Iheanacho and Wilfred Ndidi will join the Eagles camp on January 3rd. Leicester City coach Brendan Rodgers has revealed Leicester City are expected to have their African Cup of Nations players available for 3 more games before the tournament kicks off next month. It was learned Daniel Amartey and Papi Mendy have been named in the Ghana and Senegal squad. Now, Iheanacho, Ndidi, and maybe even Ademola Lookman
are also poised to represent Nigeria at the 33rd edition of the tournament hosted by Cameroon. The AFCON tournament is scheduled to start on January 9th to February 6th, 2022. Now, Toby and Mayowa will help us put the phone line on the screen. So you can actually tell us, if you make your calls, tell us what chances you think the Super Eagles have at the Nations Cup. So the call line will be on the screen. Call and tell us what chances you think Nigeria has. But Seun, in your opinion, they say Genoro had a fantastic squad. Eguavoen can work on them to do well in Cameroon. Even we heard that Amaju Pinnick said if Eguavoen can win the AFCON 2022, he will retain his position as manager, full manager. But that's not going to happen.
So today I feel like it's a unitary period, and let's not go through that route of Seun Ajidagba always stepping on bomb. But I can't just resist this offer. Can somebody tell President Amaju Melvin Pinnick, a member of the FIFA Council and by extension CAF, to sometimes please shut up and allow people to do their jobs? He's talking too much. He talks too much. Decentralization of duty ensures there's no monotony of work. You are the one always saying this, you are the one always saying that. This week, Wale, why didn't you tell the viewers that the same Pinnick also said you will get a coach before your first game against Egypt on January 11th?
A coach as good as Mourinho.
And the name that they are pushing around, Jose Peseiro, he has failed in flying colors. Saudi Arabia, everywhere he has gone to, even the last one in Venezuela, they say, if you don't leave this country, we will jail you. For how he has failed is the lower standard of a general. And you keep saying all of these things like there's no media department that can communicate this information. We are in a fix. Because it's the same. Now, another problem we are having is, where do we even want to camp? Minister of Sports, Chief Sunday Akindare, is talking about Abuja. Amaju Melvin Pinnick is talking about Uyo. Where are we going to camp? So it's
and Melvin Pinnick said that Uyo has the same weather at this point in January with Cameroon.
But what's the minister saying?
He said Abuja.
So there is too much inconsistency. We thought letting Raw go and then quickly doing our own work. If you want to let someone go, there must be somebody who is in place. Why did you not even pick Eguavoen? Because Eguavoen is even in a limbo. He doesn't know whether he's going to be the one to lead the team out against Egypt. And unfortunately, it's our first game. They put Egypt. It would have been best to say, maybe we should meet in the last game. We'll have sorted out ourselves. But it's your first game. And sometimes how well you start determines how far you go in the competition.
Egypt with a Mo Salah,
yes,
who is smoking hot right now.
Well, I have to be worried for Nigeria at this point. The fact that Egypt is our very first, I mean, they're one of the top 5 nations in Africa when it comes to...
I think they are number 6. But you know, so those times, sometimes these rankings don't really matter.
Don't really matter as far as I'm concerned. Especially when you think about the talismanic effect that Mo Salah can have on that Egypt
on
team.
Any team.
And I wonder what the impression at Maju Pinnick's office is, whether they actually believe we can go far, and why they haven't made, you know, before you take the next step. This is my problem with the way things are governed in Nigeria, the way administrations concerns itself with the work at its disposal. Before you make a move left, you must understand and chart the way forward after that move. They couldn't even make the decision that Eguavoen was going to take over the job before they announced that they were going to fire Genoro. And then after that, after firing Genoro, after putting Eguavoen, you still continue to bring out these news about, we're looking at this person, we're looking at this person. And now you're talking about, if he wins, all those other people don't matter.
Because the honest truth is, when you put me as occupied till I come, I will not put in my very best.
No doubt. Okay, the phone lines are on the screen, and you can actually call and tell us what chances you think Nigeria has in the coming Nations Cup. Now, Premier League managers have put forward their concerns on fixture congestion. Now, meeting with the league, but it felt like they were talking to a wall. Tottenham Hotspur manager Antonio Conte said yesterday Both players and managers have been up in arms over player welfare, with many teams playing twice in 3 days after Christmas, while COVID-19 outbreaks have forced the Premier League to postpone games, creating a fixture pileup. Spurs had a COVID-19 outbreak at the club earlier this month, which led to 3 games in all competitions being called off. And Conte said he was worried about players' fatigue if those who recovered have to play twice in 3 days. Okay, I have a call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Paul. I'm calling you from the redemption camp.
Go, well, go on, Paul. What are your expectations for the Super Eagles at the Nations Cup? Hello, go on, Paul. I can hear you.
Yes. You'd be surprised that the boys did not decide the government to do as soon as possible. My greatest fear is what you mentioned. Very close game with Egypt. If we can scale the hurdle against Egypt, there is a likelihood that the boys would decide, not the government now, the boys will decide that look, let's push and go as soon as possible. Phoenix, yes, is talking too much. Talking too much. And I think members of the press have one Haikulan task to get him to please keep quiet. He is talking too much. The success or otherwise of AFCON did not rest on the government. The boys will decide what we are doing, and this has to do with the captain and so on. I want to put my head in the blood and tell you that what we would experience would be what we experienced in Bamako, in Mali. This is my take on it.
Thank you very much.
Well done,
Thank you very much, Paul. Now, Paul says that we might be surprised. Yeah. That the only distraction we have is Amadou Pinnick talking too much.
Yes, you know, when our backs are against the wall, that's when we do well.
We fight back, yes.
Paul Onuachu looks like he's going to miss out. We know that we are having some issues, but in all honesty, I look at our attack. Osimhen said he's ready. Some of their doctors said they are going to follow him down. With the way things are going for Luciano Spalletti in Napoli, Aurelio De Laurentiis will want to get Osimhen back. The way they are losing some games, lose against Spurs, lose against Empoli. They don't want to be far from the chasing pack. They will get him back. And you know how good he is. There's an Emmanuel Dennis. I know they will want to invite an Odio Judigal because of his experience. You know, there's quite a couple of players that are good enough. My only problem is if it were to be raw, you would have just said 9 strikers, 3 midfielders. You know the way he thinks awkwardly. But if we get midfielders who can supply the attackers, I don't think we will have short of supply. You
know, I hope that Eguavoen brings out a pragmatic, tactical approach.
Okay, guys, you can still continue taking your calls. We might go to another topic, but we're still discussing the Super Eagles and what chances you have. I've got Sheyi calling Sheriff from Ibadan. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning, Malik. How are you doing?
I'm good. And you?
I'm fine. My take is the only problem we have with Nigerian players or Nigerian Federation of Football is these guys just is very good management. You need to change where up there. Amadu needs to go. That's my own opinion. This man talks too much and he does not do anything.
Well, so Sheriff,
that's just my opinion.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sheriff is not talking stories. You know, he's not talking about Super Eagles. His own is Amadou Pinnick must go. That's his own conclusion.
I think many Nigerians are all in agreement. Our biggest problem is the administration of our league, of our national team. It's as bad as Gennaro was, with the right guidance at the top level, we could have still done very well with it. But unfortunately, that's not what we've been getting for the last 5
And you know the
seasons.
sad part, the functionality of your national team is the success that you enjoy in your league. The same EG that we are going to play, Wale, I put it to you. They will not have half foreign-based players. I mean, 11 players start a game. They will not have half foreign-based players. They will be largely dominated by players that apply their trade in their local league.
You know,
it's because it's structured.
True.
You know, one thing that tells you just how bad our local league is, the likes of Messi, from time immemorial, have been saying, I want to retire in Boca Juniors, the team I originally started in. I want to go back home. Why are none of our aging stars able to come back to Nigeria, able to help guide the path forward for our league, our national?
You saw what happened between Sunshine and Wiki.
Okay, guys, so we can move forward. But please don't forget, if you're watching the show right now, you can still make your call and tell us your expectations for the Super Eagles at the Nations Cup, regardless of whatever topic we're discussing when you make your call. Don't worry, you can still make your calls and discuss what your expectations are about the Super Eagles at the Nations Cup. But Seun, Antonio Conte has said it all. He says, as far as he's concerned, that meeting they had was a waste of time. It was like talking to a wall, and that nothing will change. But he thinks fatigue will set in if these people back from COVID are expected to play 2 games in 3 days.
I think I will exempt the likes of Steven Gerrard, Ralph Rangnick, Antonio Conte, and I have my reasons. They were not there when they held the meeting for decision on after COVID. We know we are in an unusual times. Every league in Europe, Wale, every league in Europe adopted the 5 substitution format. It was put up for vote in England. Some teams, lower teams to be precise, felt those top teams would be at a more advantageous position, and so they jettisoned it. Now it's biting them in the face. They should learn to live with it, because reality is now dawning on them. They said, let's do 5. And the surprising thing is that when these English teams go for European competition, for UEFA Conference League, the Europa League, the Champions League, they use 5. But when they get back to their place, they revert to 3.
That point you just made is so critical, because it tells you just how selfish these lower teams were. These lower teams are not playing in Europe every other week. The big teams are. And that alone, especially in a time of the pandemic still raging on, maybe not at the initial stages like last year, but it's still very much raging on. Variants are still coming out every other day. It's like there's a manufacturer out there that keeps trying to surprise us with new variants. But the point that they would say these teams, these big teams, will have an advantage of us. Even with 3 substitutions, even in normal times, these teams still have an advantage over you. Big name players are still on their benches, and those are the players that they have ability to call. And the league is still very much unpredictable, even with that being the status quo. So why not just allow 5 substitutions? Why not just allow the opportunity for everyone to have 5 substitutions, especially when the big teams will still end up going to Europe, still end up exhausting a lot of their players, traveling and coming back and playing in Europe. It makes no sense.
Don't forget, you can still take your calls, but let's I don't know if I should ask it as a question or as the truth, but Cristiano Ronaldo, a legend already. Okay, let's look at him in retrospect this morning. Now, Australia are expecting a strong fight back from England in their do-or-die 3rd Ashes test starting on Boxing Day. But the hosts will do everything they can to maintain their supremacy and seal the series in Melbourne. All-rounder Cameron Green said yesterday. Now, the touring side suffered heavy defeats in Brisbane and Adelaide in the first 2 tests of the 5-match series and must win at the iconic Melbourne cricket ground to stay alive in the series. Not many would bet on Joe Rout's men to beat Australia, who have looked better than their arch rivals in all departments in one of the game's most recognizable contests. Now, England have never come back from a 2-0 deficit to win an Ashes series, but that is the task that faces the Joe Rout team when they walk out in front of a Boxing Day crowd at the Melbourne Cricket Ground on the third test tomorrow Sunday, Boxing Day.
It has to be.
Now, showing the history of cricket, England have never come back from the dead against Australia. Can they come back tomorrow?
Very difficult. The last time they won in Australia at the Ashes was 2010-2011 when they won 3-1. 2013-2014 when they went there, it was 4-0. 2017-2018, no, 2013-2014 was 5-0. 2017-2018 was 4-0. And when I mean 5-0, it was a clean sweep. This one is 2-0. Now, for those who don't understand this thing, the Ashes series is the most celebrated international cricket rivalry that dates back to 1882. And it has the smallest cup, which is called the On, usually between England and Australia. So England will go to Australia, Australia will come to England. Now, England are currently in Australia and they are down by 2-0. The first one was at the Gabba, the one we call Brisbane. They lost by 9 wickets. Embarrassing loss. The second one was at Adelaide, 275 runs was how England lost. The third one now they are going to is their iconic Melbourne Cricket Ground. That was where they won the World Cup, defeating New Zealand. Now, Joe Root has to rally his troops. The likes of Ben Stokes, the likes of Stuart Broad, the likes of James Anderson, who is their highest wicket taker. Even Josh Butler, the wicket keeper and the vice captain, they must all come to the party. They have not come to the party. David Malam, they must all come to the party. But for Australia, one would have thought that the incident they had before the start of the Ashes, where their captain of test, Tim Payne, and their wicketkeeper had issue of sending SMS that looked like a sexual thing that allowed him to take indefinite break, and they brought in Pat Cummins, would have disrupted them, but they are playing some amazing cricket. The likes of Pat Cummins, the likes of Josh Hazelwood. Yes, he's going to miss the third test. Michael Stark, Marcus Labuschagne, Marcus Norris, Harris. You know, these guys are playing some, even David Warner, Steve Smith, they are playing some amazing cricket. So it's difficult for England to rally back from that 2-0 down. But Joe Root, like I said, needs to rally the troop and come back in the third test, which starts tomorrow. How well they will fare remains to be seen.
But Mikhail, Joe Root said in that interview that he feels his guys lost concentration against Australia. You don't need to lose, they will beat you.
It takes more than just losing concentration. I mean, these are professional athletes. You travel all the way from England, all the way halfway around the world to the underside of the world to play a historic competition against your eternal rivals, and you lost concentration. I don't think it's a good enough excuse. You lost concentration for 2 games in a series of 5, where if you lose 3, the game is already over, but you might still end up going to play the remaining 2 just for the show of it. If you're losing concentration now, I mean, then you were never, because England we've been having questions about England's preparations for the Ashes for a while now. We've been having questions about whether they're ready to even play at any international competition against any of their regular rivals, New Zealand, Australia, even South Africa. At this point, I don't think it's a matter of concentration. 2-0 down, it's already a done deal.
But he sounds very optimistic that he can still come back from the dead.
The way he has been sounding in the first and second test. He sounded that same way in the first and second test. Joe Root needs to rally the troop because, like I said, the third test is in Melbourne Cricket Ground. The fourth one will be in Sydney, and the last one will be in Hobart. Hobart will be the first place that will be hosting the test series. It has never hosted a test Ashes series before. But like I said, for a competition of this magnitude, the most celebrated international cricket rivalry that dates back to 1882, and you are losing in this scandalous manner, the question is, when you go down under, why must you go down? Because you are in down under.
Okay, let's go now to basketball. Los Angeles Lakers bow out of the Staples Center with a whimper after a 138-110 defeat to the San Antonio Spurs. After 20 years, the venue is changing its name to Crypto.com Arena, with the California team slipping to a 4 consecutive loss. LeBron James continued his scorching form for the Lakers with 36 points, with Russell Westbrook adding 30 on the night. However, it was Keita Bates Diop who inspired the Spurs to the blowout win. What is wrong with LA Lakers, Mukayo? The guys are putting in their best, obviously.
Yes, but it feels like this LA Lakers is an aging shadow of its former self. I don't know what it is exactly. They have amazing players. Westbrook is there, LeBron James is there, Anthony Davis is there. There's a strong enough big three that even without one of them on the court, one of them injured, one of them out for whatever reason, they should still be able to perform. But they're going up against teams that they've regularly met. Obviously, going up against the Spurs is never easy. This has always been a regular game where there's always been plenty of good basketball, plenty of drama. Right from the days of Tim Duncan, you just know that this is a game that an old Lakers team, a Lakers of old, would have taken very seriously and would have gone all the way to the wire. Maybe double overtimes, but it goes beyond just this game. It's the games in the past, they're now 15 and 17. That's a lot of losses to accrue in a season when the season isn't even halfway done. I don't know what to say.
We're going to wrap up very soon.
But the honest truth is, give it up for San Antonio Spurs. They might be losing. They must have lost the likes of Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, but they have the most experienced manager in the NBA, in Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich is the most experienced. I can call him the former coach of the Dream Team of America, because now Steve Kerr, the coach of Golden State Warriors, will take over. So what he does is, his basketball is what they don't have in running up and down. He plays the pick and roll basketball
very well.
For LA Lakers, you remember the defending champion of Milwaukee Bucks, we only allowed the spirit of the great and the legendary Kobe Bryant to get into them and win that title for them when he died. So we've taken out Kobe Bryant, and then they are back to status quo.
In the spirit of Christmas, we're going to leave you with something. Okay, we're going to come back, but I want you to watch this. An Utah Jazz dancer received a marriage proposal during Utah's game against Charlotte, Vivint Arena in St. Lake City. Now, Danielle Bush got stressed when suddenly a colleague started performing a routine she didn't recognize. She said, we should be local media, who said worried she would lose her job. The video shows surprised Bush surrounded by her smiling colleagues as they danced. Shortly after, she discovered her boyfriend kneeling in the middle of the basketball court. The surprise proposal was arranged by her boyfriend, Brandon. Of course, I think it's a very good thing. These things should happen more often. At her job, the guy comes to propose to her at her job. It's fantastic.
This is a whole team effort.
Because she was losing her job because she first would lose her job because she didn't get the routine they were doing.
Which means a lot of everything they did, they planned behind her back.
Yes.
They practiced one routine in front of her, and then behind her back they were practicing another. And they got the assent from the franchise to do this. It's a heartwarming thing to see during the festive period, and she must have been terribly surprised.
Wow.
Wow.
Fantastic.
No, but the thing is, this feeling is good though. If it's mutual, that both are. We see cases where
she has said no.
Ọlọ́run o. You say iboloju ẹ wà.
Plus Sports Special on Christmas Day. Seun Ajidagba, thank you very much for always coming to our rescue.
A pleasure to always be here. To the guys who are doing the top job behind.
True that.
Guys, I don't take you for granted. Highly appreciated.
Mayowa, Francis, and
everybody, all of them.
Mayowa, I take you for granted. You and I know why.
Thank you very much, Mukayo. Plus Sports Special, at the same time next week on Christmas. Well, this is Christmas Day today. Thank you very much, our producer, Tobi Olushola. Thank you very much, Mayowa. Thank you very much, Francis, in them. You can't see them, but they are working so very hard. My name is Wally Scott. Till next week. Like I always advise you at the end. And K, Kayode. I forgot Kayode to K. Thank you very much, guys. Merry Christmas to you guys and Happy New Year in advance. My name is Wally Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.